Family, are you there? Well, come on in. I'm so happy you chose to pass by on such a beautiful rainy day, at least here in the Virgin Islands. Today is a rainy day. This video is a continuation of a blooper video that I posted maybe about a week ago. I've decided to come back in and see if we can continue a little bit more of the ballerina bodice. In my case, I chose the waist area to be 3.5 inches, or at least that's what came out from my pattern. And then the upper part of my bodice was 4 inches. The bottom could be 4 inches too. Somehow mine came out 4.5. It doesn't matter, because you could do a small bodice, whatever size you want. Matter of fact, you could do a larger one if you so wish to do. My bottom base came out a 5.5. Now that I was sure what size bodice I wanted to create, I went to my fabric stash and I found a piece of silk. This piece of silk has a story. I was Godmother Glenda from the Wizard of Oz in one of our carnivals, and I made the costume. I made everything. Unfortunately, that day it rained. It was the St. Thomas Carnival, and it rained, and my costume got so dirty, so full of mud. We had to keep walking down because rain don't stop the carnival. So unfortunately, most of the fabric from that dress got mud stains, which I could not salvage. Nonetheless, before I chose to throw it away, I managed to salvage pieces of the dress. In this case, the silk and the overlaying organza that it had. In this case, I cut mine 14 by 12. So I had it pre-cut and available. You don't want to start cutting fabric while you're working. So I chose to prepare everything, to cut them, to fold them, and I used my tray. Plastic tray or cardboard box, whichever you choose, to put all the items I thought that I was going to use. Whether I end up using them or not, at least they were handy. They were close by. So here it is. This is what I ended up with. Hi, Miss Andie. How are you? Are you coming to inspect? Do you like the pink? You're blocking the camera. Why don't you go up to your perch? Huh? How about go up to the perch? There's the window, and the birdies are out there chirping. This 1 inch is what I would like to leave across the when I'm ready to cut the fabric. If you can't get the silk, you can get a piece of cotton. If you had chosen white cotton, let's say for instance this was a white cotton, you cut it the same, the same give or take, and you could put the lace over it. I put my pattern on top of the piece of Xerox paper, and I want to give it at least 1 inch around. Okay, I want you to be comfortable doing your crafts. So like they say, measure twice, cut once. Carpenters say that. The seamstress also say that. I want to mark 1 inch. Some portions may not be a total inch, but you have an idea. You're gonna understand later why I chose to do the error of margin. The best way that I think you should do it is pencil it so you can see the distance that you're gonna keep from the pattern. Eyeball it around the curve and come around to the bodice side. Remember your margin of error. I keep saying error of margin. They're gonna come for me. The grammar police is gonna come for me. Mark it up. And there we have half of the bodice in the paper. This is gonna be your guinea pig. Now that we have the fabric size that we want to cut, we're going to pass it on to the existing fabric. We don't have to leave any margin of error. Had we chose to cut it from the bodice, when you came here, you would have had to mark the fabric, and that is what I was trying to prevent. Damaging my fabric with any marking tools that I was gonna intend to use. So we pin the curves, pin the edges, pin the bottom. And now comes the moment of truth. We're gonna cut this and muck it up or not. So If you feel comfortable enough to remove the pins, you can do that right now, or you can leave it on until you're ready for the next step. So now that your bodice is covered, if you haven't done so already, you can start deciding what kind of decorations you're going to place. So I'm going to stop it right here, and in our next video we will be doing the skirt part of it. Mine was cut 20 by 12, and we're going to be using the tool. The tool is bridal veil. In my case, just in case you want to go ahead and get a piece already, the length is 54 wide. The piece I cut is 54 wide, and which is 1.5 yards, and the length I chose was around 18 inches, but you could give or take. It depends on how long you want that ballerina to be on the wall. So for next video, we will be demonstrating placing the bottom, which is the skirt, placing the tool, and then using the felt piece to clean up the back, to cover the back of the bodice. This is going on a wall, so the back, you don't have to do much to it. So putting a piece of felt to me was enough. Had you chosen to make it something to hang, something that was not leaning against a wall, then you would have had to do the same thing to the back. If you choose to do that, I recommend you cut 2 cardboards equally the same, cover the front of each one, and when they were ready, covered, you would glue them together. Let's say, just pretend this was the same covered piece. You would glue them back to back together. You would have to then do something else to the edges, but you know, we can work on that in another project probably. Remember, this will be video 1. Actually, it's video 2, because if we count the blooper, it will be video 2. So thank you very much for visiting me. See you next time.